Every business owner dreads this moment. You trust someone to run your shop, handle your money, or oversee your stock, and then you discover they've been stealing. Maybe cash is missing. Maybe products are gone with no explanation. Your gut reaction is swift. Fire them. Now. It's a natural response. But what if I told you that firing the worker immediately might actually leave your business more vulnerable? Here's why. When someone steals from your business and gets away with it for a while, they didn't just steal. They exploited a weakness in your system. A loophole. A blind spot. If you fire them without identifying and closing that gap, the next person will likely do the same. Not necessarily because they are evil, but because the opportunity to cheat is still there. Fraudulent workers don't stop because you fire one of them. They stop when your system makes fraud nearly impossible. This is the duty of every business owner, to relentlessly plug the holes until your system is tight enough to resist even a clever cheat. This video will show you why the theft isn't the end of the story. It's the beginning of your real work. 1. The cost of firing too soon. When you catch a staff member stealing, it feels like betrayal. The obvious move is to fire them on the spot. You feel justified, but reacting too fast can actually set you up for repeated failure. Imagine this. You run a small convenience store. One day, your cash register comes up short. You trace it to a cashier and fire him immediately. You hire someone else. Honest, quiet, respectful. A few weeks later, the same thing happens. Sound familiar? That's because the real problem wasn't the person. It was the system that made theft easy and undetectable. No sales record. No receipt system. No checks. The thief just walked through a wide-open door. And until you close that door, you're simply inviting the next dishonest person to walk in. The real cost of firing too soon is that you throw away the lesson. The fraud showed you the hole. But instead of fixing it, you just replaced the thief and left the door swinging open. 2. Fraud is a symptom, not the disease. When fraud happens, we blame the person. But most times, fraud is just a symptom. The real disease is a system weak enough to be exploited. Take the case of a pharmacy owner who trusted her sales girl completely. But money kept coming up short. After catching her in the act and firing her, she hired another worker. Same problem. Then another. Same result. Eventually, she realized the painful truth. The workers didn't invent the fraud. They discovered the opportunity. There were no sales records, no stock tracking, no receipts. It was a system that rewarded boldness and punished honesty. Once she fixed those weaknesses, stock books, daily checks, simple receipts, the fraud stopped. Not because people became angels, but because the system left no room for the devil to hide. And if this kind of insight is helping you rethink how you manage your business, now's a good time to hit subscribe. On this channel, we break down practical strategies that protect your business and help it grow, so you don't just survive, you scale. Every time someone cheats your business, ask, what flaw did they exploit? What guardrail was missing? What was I not watching? Fraud doesn't just reveal bad people. It reveals your blind spots. 3. Fix the system before firing the person. So, what should you do when someone steals? You don't start with shouting. You don't start with sacking. You start with forensics. Ask yourself, how did they do it? What process failed? What loophole did they find? And can someone else find it too? Let's say someone was stealing inventory, cartons of noodles disappearing without record. Don't just fire them. Look at your system. Are sales recorded? Is stock checked regularly? Are receipts issued? Even a notebook and pen can tighten your controls. Add basic structure, write down sales, cross-check money, monitor stock. Let your workers know the system now watches what you don't. One electronic shop owner solved chronic staff theft by installing a cheap CCTV camera and doing weekly stock audits. Theft dropped to zero, not because the workers found religion, but because the system shut the door. You don't stop fraud by watching people harder. You stop fraud by building systems they can't easily trick. 4. When to let go and how to do it right. Let's be clear. This isn't a plea to keep thieves on your payroll. If someone has broken trust, they may still need to go. But by the time you fire them, you should have already closed every loophole they used. When you fire a fraudulent worker after fixing the system, It's no longer emotional, it's strategic. You're not just reacting, you're leading. Some business owners even keep a fraudulent worker for a little longer, just to observe what else they might reveal. Often, fraud is deeper than one person. Maybe they had help. Maybe they took advantage of multiple weak points. But once the system is airtight, then you let them go. Now, the next person walking into that job won't find the same opportunities. Now, you've broken the cycle. People might say, you're too soft. Ignore them. You're not being soft, you're being smart. You're not just firing a thief. You're upgrading your business. Plug every hole, relentlessly. Fraud feels like a personal attack. It shocks you. It hurts. But it's also a gift in disguise, if you pay attention. Every act of theft is a signal. There's still a loophole here. And here's the hard truth. If you don't close it, someone else will find it. Again and again. That's why smart entrepreneurs treat fraud not just as betrayal, but as an urgent alarm bell. They investigate. They adapt. They plug every hole, one by one. And they never stop, because a smart fraudster will always keep trying. Your job is to make sure they fail. Every time. So, yes, fire the worker if you must. But only after your system can survive the next one. Only after you've made cheating the hard choice, not the easy one. Because in the end, your greatest protection isn't good intentions. It's good systems.